Chapter 2051, The Future. At this moment, she didn't care which school she had graduated from. What she cared about was that when they were chatting, she couldn't possibly share that she was a student who graduated from junior high, right? These were all embarrassing topics. Thankfully, the Zai family didn't like the excitement and might not attend some banquets in the political circle. Otherwise, they would ask 3 questions. What qualifications do you have? Where did you study? Where are you studying now? These 3 questions could kill Qiaonan in seconds, leaving her without a whole body. Zai Sheng pinched Qiaonan's hand. Don't give yourself so much pressure. If you really feel there's a need to and you want to study, I'm supportive. However, if it's purely because of how others would look at you, you don't have to work so hard. Qiaonan shook her head. You don't understand. We don't have to care too much about how others look at us, but we can't ignore them completely. We live in a big society. There are so many people around us that we have to keep in touch with. We have to integrate into such a living environment. We have to try and work hard. You don't have to think that this is hard work. I feel that this is putting in effort, and this is necessary. If only she and the Zai family were left in this world, then indeed, she didn't have to feel pressured or care about these issues. However, this was not the case. Aside from the Zai family, there were still many people and countries in this world. Regardless of whether it was for Zai Sheng or herself, Qiaonan felt that it was necessary for her to improve herself. You also know that over the years, the only thing that I haven't lost knowledge in and have been learning better is English. As such, I want to take whatever English level tests that are available. No matter what, she had relied on this in the past to make a living. When she was in Pingcheng, she taught English to students who were in junior high school and below. As such, coupled with the fact that the effects of her tutoring were good, she could casually take out a Set 4 certificate and those parents would still be willing to use a good price to hire her. In reality, Qiaonan had put in a lot of effort to get such a reputation among the parents of elementary and junior high school children in Pingcheng. Following the development of society, parents paid more attention to their children's education and focused more on their children's English ability. Since they had to spend a huge amount of money to hire a tutor, the tutor mustn't be too bad and had to fulfill all requests. When Qiaonan was studying, she was very interested in English. After dropping out of school to work, because of various reasons, the knowledge Qiaonan came into contact with the most was actually English. As such, based on her love for studying and her own determination, Qiaonan self-taught and passed the Set 4 test. How would parents be willing to hire a tutor with a background similar to Qiaonan's? Qiaonan became a tutor to satisfy Ding Jiyi's increasing demands for higher living expenses. As such, Qiaonan didn't dare to drop her price. She was afraid that once she dropped her price, it wouldn't be easy for her to increase her price again. What should she do if she increased her price but the other party chose to change a tutor? In the end, as she was left with no choice, Qiaonan came up with the suggestion of a trial teaching. The tuition fees couldn't be lowered as she was confident in her capabilities. However, she could try teaching for a while. If the child's English results during this period of trial improved, then the parents had to pay her the tuition fees for this period. On the contrary, if her tuition was useless, she wouldn't take any money during this trial period. She would just pack her bags and leave. Qiaonan's suggestion was quickly accepted by parents. Some parents were open-minded. Upon seeing that Qiaonan had a Set 4 certificate, even if they knew that Qiaonan was just a junior high school graduate, they were willing to give her a chance. Thankfully, Qiaonan had really worked hard in this regard. The first child she tried teaching scored 8 points higher in the first topical test when school reopened, compared to the final examinations of the previous semester. Not only did the parents retain Qiaonan as a tutor, but they also paid her all the tuition fees. Before the parents gave Qiaonan the money, they also asked their child if he could understand whatever Qiaonan had taught him. The child said Jiao Nan taught him very seriously and her lessons were quite interesting. In the past, when he looked at English, he couldn't understand or remember it well. Now, his acceptance of English knowledge was really much better than before. Since their child had said so, why else should the parents doubt Jiao Nan? Gradually, Jiao Nan's reputation as an English tutor who graduated from junior high school became stronger. There weren't a lot of parents who asked Jiao Nan for tuition, but there were a few who asked at the same time. These parents tried to lower the price with Jiao Nan. However, they were no match to her as their child's results had improved after Jiao Nan's teaching but dropped again after they dismissed Jiao Nan and found another tutor with a university degree. As such, Jiao Nan became their eventual choice. Without the chance to change her destiny in her dream, Jiao Nan thought about it and decided to start with English, which she was best at. At this moment, Jiao Nan wasn't sure if her level of English had been high to begin with or if she had brought over the many years of teaching by Elder Lin in her dreams to reality. Her English proficiency was not any worse than a university student's. Even if she was asked to be an assistant for a diplomat, Jiao Nan felt that she was competent. Of course, Jiao Nan didn't say these words. To say them at this time would make her seem that she was bragging. It would definitely not be wrong for her to improve herself first. Jiao Nan already thought of what specialization she wanted to apply for and how she was going to complete all the English tests step by step after reaching the capital. Upon hearing how excited Jiao Nan was when sharing her future study schedule, Zai Sheng smiled and was completely relieved. It was a selfish decision for him to bring Jiao Nan to the capital. Even if he and his family were sincere to Jiao Nan and never cared about her background and qualifications, it didn't mean that others would look at Jiao Nan in such a manner as well. However, to leave Jiao Nan in Pingcheng and not let her interact with the Zai family's contacts in the capital was similarly selfish and unfair to Jiao Nan. She would be hurt either way. As such, Zai Sheng was more willing to hand the choice over to Jiao Nan. In this process, he would try his best to protect Jiao Nan. The problem was that once he heard about Jiao Nan's future plans in the capital, Zai Sheng's heart felt warm. He was overjoyed to discover that Jiao Nan was stronger and more suitable to be a chief's wife than he had imagined. Perhaps life in the capital would make Jiao Nan feel somewhat uneasy and hesitant. However, this would not stop Jiao Nan's love for life. Chapter 2052, Special Privilege. He had indeed found himself a soulmate and the most suitable woman for himself this time. All right, we'll do as you say. Don't worry. My parents and I will all support you. As long as you're happy, we'll always be on your side no matter what decision you make. Perhaps, he should have a conversation with his father to let him know about Nan's ideas after he arrived in the capital and before leaving. He would definitely not have much time to help Nan or take care of her once he returned to the military. At such a time, the one who would be able to guide and help Nan would be his father. The moment the auntie in the capital heard about the news that Zai Sheng had gotten married while back at the old villa, she was overjoyed. Because the Zayas were good people, the auntie was concerned about her employers. In such an expensive city like the capital, where others were crammed into small houses of less than 100 square meters, Zai Yayawai and Miaojing were often lonely and sad because there was nobody else in their huge home. The auntie knew very well that Zai Yayawai and Miaojing had always been longing for Zai Sheng to get married and to have children of his own. Now that he had already passed the first hurdle of getting married, a baby was sure to be on the way very soon. As such, Jiao Nan was very warmly welcomed by the auntie. You're Jiao Nan, right? I'm the auntie in this house. You must have had a long trip. I've already made some tea. Please go have some. I've also washed all the fruits on the table. Please have whatever you like. This auntie was not the same one as in Jiao Nan's dream. Thus, Jiao Nan felt a little unfamiliar with her. Jiao Nan felt a little overwhelmed by the special treatment she was receiving from a stranger. All right, thank you. Sitting on the sofa, Miaojing suddenly felt that she had to accept that she had indeed grown old. While she was younger, She had accompanied old Zai on flights everywhere and had never once felt tired. Now, she had merely taken a 3-hour flight and was already feeling aches all over. "Auntie, I'm hungry. Have you prepared our meal? If you have, you can bring them out now. Zai Sheng, take Nan Nan to have a look at your room." "Your room? I don't want to talk about it. It's just as well that Nan Nan can redecorate it." Was it even a room? Apart from a bed, there were only walls in a single color. If not for the wooden floor, Miao Jing might even mistake Zai Sheng's room for a prison cell instead of a normal bedroom. Even without Miao Jing's instructions, Zai Sheng had intended to show Jiaonan their room. Zai Sheng had a feeling that he would spend more time in his bedroom in the next half a year than he had in the past 10 years he had been in the capital. In the face of the room he would return to, Zai Sheng had to consider Jiaonan's feelings even if he did not care about his own. "Nan Nan, take a look and see what needs to be changed or added. You can do as you please. I don't have any specific requirements." Seeing that Zai Sheng had only a bed without even a closet to hang his clothes, Jiaonan pursed her lips. "I can tell that you really don't care about where you live. How could you not even have a closet? Where do you put all your clothes?" Zai Sheng was a little hesitant to answer that question. How should he put it? In the past, he had no interest in coming home. Even after Chu Chenxi left, he had been unwilling to return. When he had just divorced Chu Chenxi, his parents had not fully understood the situation yet, much less reconciled with him. Besides, his parents' relationship was a little strange in itself. Why would he, as their son and a single man, come in between them? Moreover, Zai Sheng had not been young when he had gotten married to Chu Chenxi in the first place. After the divorce that came 3 years later, Zai Sheng was even older. Yet, there was still no child in the Zai family. As such, every time Zai Sheng returned home, Miao Jing would nag at him to get married without fail. Even worse, upon confirming that Zai Sheng was returning home, Miao Jing would always find ways to have 2 to 3 unmarried young ladies at home every time Zai Sheng returned. It was obvious what she was scheming. His parents' relationship was still unclear while he had not been divorced for long at that time. How could Zai Sheng possibly throw himself into another grave by being with a woman he had not known for long? With Miao Jing on his back, Zai Sheng neither raised his voice nor threw a temper. Instead, he simply returned home to sit around for a while before excusing himself by saying that he needed to return for a mission in the military. In the end, Zai Sheng resorted to returning to the Zai family's house in a clean set of clothes. Then, he would return to the military after a night's stay. Since his clothes were in the military, it was only natural that he changed his clothes back in the military. Zai Sheng had already gotten to the point where he did not even change in the Zai family's house. This naturally meant that a closet was unnecessary there. Given his frugality as a soldier, Zai Sheng had simply moved that unused closet somewhere else and put it into good use elsewhere. Since Zai Sheng did not answer her, Jiaonan did not try to force one out of him. It was not a crucial matter anyway. "All right, I'll clean this room up. Do you even come back here?" In her dream, Jiaonan had been Zai Sheng's wife for over 20 years. What could Jiaonan possibly not know about Zai Sheng's temper and habits? In fact, Jiaonan had heard about Zai Yawai and Miao Jing's situation from Zai Hua while she had been in Pingcheng. A child's opinions and ideas about marriage were directly influenced by his parents. In reality, the couple's relationship had only gotten better quite recently. This had led to Zai Hua's extreme desire to have a family of her own and a man who would cherish her with all his heart. That was why she had gotten married to Wei Di. On the other hand, Zai Sheng felt that marriage was unnecessary after seeing his parents' relationship. By remaining unmarried, he would have one less person to make trouble for him. That way, he would have more freedom in the future. Zai Sheng did not think much about it and smiled. "Don't worry. I'll return home often in the future. I'll come back and spend time with you every time I get a break in the military." Since Zai Sheng had not read in between the lines, Xiao Nan could not be bothered to explain it any further. "All right, come back often. By the way, if anything happens and I can't make up my mind, can I make a call to the military to find you?" Xiao Nan had already gotten this special privilege while she was still a junior high school student in her dream and before she had even been in an official relationship with Zai Sheng. At that time, she had simply treated Zai Sheng as an older brother who was concerned about her. She had never imagined that Zai Sheng felt something more toward her. Chapter 2053, Complaint. Zai Sheng's eyes glimmered. Of course. He had been in such bliss these days. He should have taken the initiative to offer Nan Nan his number in the military, but Nan Nan had been the one to ask for it. Zai Sheng retrieved a notebook from the study room and wrote down his number in the military. "You can dial this number if you need to get hold of me in the future. I should be able to answer it most of the time." After becoming a chief, Zai Sheng was no longer sent on dangerous missions as often as he had been while he had been younger. It was just that he could not leave the military base because of his responsibilities. Even though he no longer went on as many missions, Zai Sheng had never gotten excessive free time. All right. It was only natural that the number Xiao Nan received from Zai Sheng differed from the one in her dream. However, Xiao Nan memorized Zai Sheng's number immediately all the same. "All right, I'll call you in the future if I need you. And if anything happens, remember to let me know once you are allowed to do so." This was a tacit understanding that Xiao Nan had developed with Zai Sheng in her dream. It seemed as though they were reliving their lives in reality by meeting each other again and even getting married again. However, Xiao Nan had no intention of changing that harmonious way they got along before. Zai Sheng naturally agreed to Xiao Nan's suggestion at once. Upon returning to the capital, Zai Sheng spent only a day at home with Xiao Nan before returning to the military yet again. As for Xiao Nan, who was now without her husband by her side, she was no different from the person she was in her dream, who had never let herself relax and be free because of her husband's absence. Quite on the contrary, Xiao Nan got even busier than anyone else. Based on her own interests, Xiao Nan, who already had a level 4 certification in English, signed up for level 6 examination as well as a course similar to a teaching degree to upgrade her skills. When they had just returned to the capital, Zai Yaowai had already heard from Zai Sheng that Xiao Nan intended to upgrade herself. Zai Yaowai fully supported Xiao Nan in this matter. It did not matter that Xiao Nan's family background was poor or imperfect. Even a perfect family background would not be able to compare to Xiao Nan's desire to learn. If Xiao Nan had not planned everything out for herself, her father-in-law, Zai Yaowai, would probably have taken interest in helping her find something worth pursuing. With Zai Yaowai's help, Xiao Nan managed to sign up for her examinations and courses smoothly. Upon receiving her books, Xiao Nan immediately threw herself into a sea of books. Thankfully, Xiao Nan was still as enthusiastic upon seeing books as she had been while in junior high school, even though she had already been away for a few decades. Xiao Nan did not experience headaches upon looking at books, like a normal person would after graduating. Without such negative emotions, it was only expected that Xiao Nan learned much more from the textbooks than others would. As for English, Xiao Nan did not even need to revise anything. She simply turned up for class at the right time. In both her dream and reality, she had never lost her knowledge of English and her command of the language was extremely high. Apart from her studies, Xiao Nan busied herself with redecorating the room that she shared with Zai Sheng. Of course, Xiao Nan always made use of the time that Miaojing and Zai Yaowai were out of the house in the daytime to do that. No matter how minor her renovations were, some noise was inevitable. Miaojing and Zai Yaowai were no longer young and it was better to avoid such noise as much as possible. Xiao Nan busied herself with her studies for 2 months until the date of her level 6 certification examination was looming ahead of her. The room that she shared with Zai Sheng was finally comfortable and cozy enough to be termed as a room. While Xiao Nan led a blissful life, it seemed as though the Qiao family was still in a mess. The difference was that Jiao Nan was no longer their target. Instead, Jiao Dongliang had taken her place. Tell me. Has Jiao Nan been sending our family money all this while? Have you been keeping the money for yourself? Ding Jiyi had been at a loss for words for almost an hour. It was only when she returned home to that familiar and secure place that she returned from her trance and managed to speak her mind. Ding Jiyi had already sued Jiao Nan. Given that Jiao Nan was married to Zai Sheng, even if Jiao Nan did not care about it, the Zai family would. They were all a family. Before the court hearings even started, the Zai family would definitely send Jiao Nan to settle the situation with the Chiao family and would accede to all of their demands. After all, dirty linen should not be aired in public. Chief Zai's newly wedded daughter-in-law did not even recognize or support her biological parents anymore. Ding Jiyi did not believe that the Zai family would allow their reputations to be ruined just like that. But who would have known that Jiao Nan would not show up at their door to beg for mercy or forgiveness up until the day the court hearings started? In fact, she had not even received a phone call from Jiao Nan. In the face of Jiao Nan's stubbornness, Ding Jiyi told herself more than once that she had to take this chance to give Jiao Nan a good lecture. She would not be Ding Jiyi if she did not get Jiao Nan to understand how to be a good daughter. In short, Ding Jiyi was not trying to teach Jiao Nan any morals. What she wanted Jiao Nan to know was that she would never be able to escape from Ding Jiyi's grasp. Even though she had already married into the Zai family and had become the chief's wife, Jiao Nan would never be able to smile as long as Ding Jiyi wanted her to cry. If Jiao Nan wanted to live a blissful life, she had to make Ding Jiyi satisfied. Only then would she allow Jiao Nan to be happy. If Jiao Nan dared to cast her mother aside or anger her, she would definitely make Jiao Nan's life a living hell. When she arrived at the courthouse, Ding Jiyi was as arrogant and high-spirited as soldiers going to war. Others might have misunderstood that she was here to fight against her enemy, and even those in the know would have wondered if Jiao Nan was truly Ding Jiyi's biological daughter. Why else would Ding Jiyi be so vicious toward Jiao Nan? The moment Ding Jiyi saw the seat opposite her that was meant for Jiao Nan still empty when the hearing started, she could not help but ask, "Your Honor, I would like to ask if it's considered a contempt of court that the younger daughter that I'm suing didn't even turn up today. Will I immediately win this case?" She remembered seeing the news one day about a similar situation. Because the other party had not turned up in court, they had immediately lost the case. Chapter 2054, Suggestion. The lawyer could not even be bothered to glance at Ding Jiyi. The situation is different this time. Please maintain your silence in court and refrain from spouting nonsense. The lawyer himself felt helpless that he had to deal with such a case. He could not understand what his client could possibly sue for given the Chiao family's familial relationships. Since their daughter had already gotten ahead in life, his client could simply relax and wait to enjoy her life. To fall out with her daughter at this point in time was simply creating trouble for herself. The lawyer had been utterly confused until he saw the name of his client. Then, everything clicked. As a lawyer, he was indeed busy. But that did not mean that he was ignorant about what was going on in the city. Upon finding out that his client was Ding Jiyi, the lawyer had not wanted to accept the case. Unfortunately for him, his law firm had already done so and he could not find a way out of it. The Chiao family's situation was unlike other families. Everyone in Pingcheng knew about the Chiao family's dirty linen. With such a premise, he was sure that the judge would not have a good first impression of his client. Compared to his greedy client, a filial daughter like Jiao Nan who had been silently sacrificing herself all this while was proof that one reaped whatever they sowed. Given that her biological mother had been so vicious toward her, sucking her dry of all her money, Jiao Nan should never have been so filial without even caring about her own well-being. Because she had always made sacrifices for the Chiao family, the Chiao family's greed had only increased. Everyone's attitude toward Jiao Nan was that they were saddened by her misfortune but angered by her lack of resistance. 1. Naturally, public opinion was biased toward Jiao Nan even if Jiao Nan had not given the Jiao family a single cent or shouldered the responsibility of being a filial daughter in the past year. At the very most, the court would simply order Jiao Nan to make up for whatever allowance deemed fit according to the cost of living in Pingcheng. The court would never be able to punish Jiao Nan severely, much less stand on Ding Jiyi's side and fulfill all of Ding Jiyi's demands. Oh, all right. Ding Jiyi still wanted to win this case. As such, she had to behave herself and not make any trouble today. There was no other choice. She could not afford to offend the judge. If she were to offend the judge, she might very well change the verdict from one in her favor to one against her. Besides, she had to depend on her lawyer to win this case. As such, she could not afford to offend the lawyer either. But who would have known that a lawsuit would waste so much time, effort, and money? Fighting a lawsuit was no mean feat. The conclusion from Ding Jiyi's discussion with Jiao Zijin was that Jiao Zijin would fork out the money, while Ding Jiyi would spend her time and effort on the case. After dividing the labor that way, it was time to put on their performance. Lawyer, will win, right? Ding Jiyi puffed up her chest. Since Jiao Nan would not give up until the very end, she would have to prove to Jiao Nan that one's stubbornness did not matter. It only mattered whether she was willing to let Jiao Nan off the hook. She was the one who had given birth to Jiao Nan. It would be a huge joke if even she could not control Jiao Nan. If her daughter did not listen to her, who would she listen to? The lawyer bit on his lip, reluctant to answer Ding Jiyi. If it is true that the defendant did not pay any alimony in the past year, then we'll definitely win to a certain extent. He had made it clear that it was only to a certain extent, definitely not to the extent that Ding Jiyi was hoping for. They did not run the courts and Ding Jiyi's reputation was bad to begin with. This meant that they were already at a huge disadvantage as the plaintiff even before the hearing started. Even if they were to win, Ding Jiyi would never be able to gain as much as she wanted. That's good. Just try to help us win. Of course, Ding Jiyi did not understand what the lawyer meant by to a certain extent. All she cared about was that one word. Because she heard that they would win, nothing else mattered to her. Ding Jiyi was relaxed, but the lawyer was not. Madam Ding, I want to reconfirm that the defendant did not fulfill her obligations and responsibilities of providing for her parents in the past year. I'm sure. How could she not be sure? Not only had Jiao Nan not given her any money, but she had even stolen the family's money that had been meant for Jiao Zijin's treatment. In fact, she had even told the lawyer about this story to prove that Jiao Nan was so bad beyond the point of rescue. Under normal circumstances, the lawyer might have bought into his client's story upon listening to this one-sided summary of events. Thankfully, Ding Jiyi had kicked up such a fuss that she had appeared on the news. Hence, there were few who did not know about the Jiao family's circumstances. Even if one was ignorant about it, they could very easily search up about it or ask someone else about it. Hearing Ding Jiyi foolishly retelling the story, the lawyer simply asked a question that made Ding Jiyi flare up. Did you say that your younger daughter stole all your family's money that was meant for your elder daughter's treatment? Was it your husband who earned all that money? Does that money have nothing to do with your younger daughter? About this. She wasn't married, so she was still part of the Jiao family. Her money is our money. Ding Jiyi was indignant. Was that not the case with all unmarried daughters? There was no way Jiao Nan's earnings belonged to her alone. No. The Jiao family's money belonged to the entire Jiao family. It was equally shared by all four of them. The lawyer adjusted his glasses. Madam Ding, I'm obliged to remind you that based on what you've said, your younger daughter simply took her own earnings. I don't know what your family is like. But I know that whatever habits or customs you have will not be recognized or protected by the law. In the legal sense, whatever you've just said doesn't hold. Once your younger daughter comes of age, she is an independent individual with autonomy. Her earnings are her own. It doesn't belong to the Jiao family or you or your husband. The law will not recognize that. Do you understand? That meant that the court would never recognize or take into account that the defendant was an evil and cold-blooded animal that was totally indifferent to her family. Madam Ding, my suggestion is that you provide other evidence to prove that the defendant has not done her duty to provide for her parents. Otherwise, I would suggest that you not go through with this. Chapter 2055, Trying his best to win. It might backfire on you if you say too much. The judge might favor the other party, putting you at a disadvantage. Ding Jiyi's expression changed and she could not help but murmur inwardly. Who decided on such a law? Why was it so wrong and foolish? Qiao Nan was unmarried, so her earnings should belong to the entire Qiao family instead of her alone. That was the way all families worked. Why did the law not recognize and protect that? Thinking about how the court would not punish Qiao Nan for wanting to kill her sister and would even stand on her side, Ding Jiyi was incensed. Lawyer, let me ask you a question. Was this law passed recently? Otherwise, why were they all helping Qiao Nan instead of her? Was the law not supposed to protect the interests of the commoners? She did not feel that her interests were being protected at all. Ding Jiyi felt that the law the lawyer was talking about was written by Qiao Nan herself. It seemed to favor Qiao Nan while putting her at a disadvantage. She then thought about how Qiao Nan had become the chief's wife. Perhaps, Qiao Nan had specially asked for such a law to be passed after finding out that she was going to be sued. 1. Ignorance was indeed frightening. How could a new law be passed by a single person? However, Ding Jiyi was arrogant and felt that her words and ideas were always right and would never be wrong. As such, she did not hesitate to say such ridiculous things that turned her into a laughingstock. A normal person would never ask such a question. Did she have no common sense at all? Could it be done simply by opening one's mouth and asking for it to be passed? However, the lawyer had to remind himself that the person in front of him was his client who was paying for his services. As such, he could not afford to get angry, much less use words to provoke her. That would only make him appear unprofessional and incompetent as a lawyer. No matter what, lawyers were still part of the service industry. Madam Ding, it's all right for you to talk about such things to me, but I hope that you'll remain silent once we go to court. After all, silence is gold. It would be better for Madam Ding to remain quiet as long as he did not ask for her opinion. Given Ding Jiyi's rashness, he was afraid that it would not be his incompetence but Ding Jiyi's mouth that would cause them the case. She might even help the other party gain an edge over them with her words. You don't have to doubt the law's justness and fairness. The court is not a one-man paradise. Those laws that I talked about earlier have been around for decades. At that time, the defendant was probably not much older than a newborn infant. As such, his client had better not believe that the law favored the defendant. In reality, it was rationality and justness that stood on the defendant's side. After such a conversation, Ding Jiyi came to an understanding that many of her ideas would not be recognized by the law. As such, it would be impossible for her to attack and win against Qiao Nan. The biggest thing Ding Jiyi had going for her was that Qiao Nan had not fulfilled her responsibility as a child nor supported her parents after leaving the family. She had even betrayed them by taking her salary with her. They could only fight the lawsuit based on this one point. Ding Jiyi should not even dream of anything else, much less voice them out in case she were to make even more mistakes the more she said, causing their already low chances of winning to decrease even further. Although Ding Jiyi was upset that Qiao Nan had not appeared in court and she was unable to see Qiao Nan get afraid and angry, and even beg her for mercy, she remembered at all times that her lawyer had instructed her to remain silent unless she was called upon. Otherwise, she should just put on a pitiful act and keep her mouth shut. While she was not the best at acting, she simply had to behave as she normally did. That way, she would definitely do well. Ding Jiyi, who never allowed anyone else to control her, treated the lawyer's words like an imperial edict for the sake of winning the lawsuit. Since the lawyer had instructed her to remain silent, she would do just that. The lawyer asked her if Chiao Nan had really not even given the Chiao family a single cent after her departure. To that, Ding Jiyi nodded sincerely and replied in the affirmative. Yes, that wretched girl, Chiao Nan, had not even made a phone call to the Chiao family after running away, much less given them any money. All right. Let's wait for the start of the court session. The line between winning and losing was never too clear in a lawsuit. It was already quite a big deal that he was able to help Ding Jiyi win to a certain extent. As for thinking about Ding Jiyi's long list of demands, the lawyer huffed. If he was Madame Ding's daughter, he would have run away too. Such a mother had no use for a useless child. Of course, he felt a headache on behalf of the other party's lawyer as well. As Ding Jiyi waited for the start of the court session, Qiao Zijin, who had not turned up in court, was anxiously clutching onto her mobile phone, waiting for news from Ding Jiyi. Qiao Zijin was especially somber today, and her eyes darted around nervously. Hearing that Qiao Dongliang had emerged from the room to get some water, Qiao Zijin stood up after some thought. Dad, are you thirsty? Do you want me to get you a glass of water? Actually, if her dad was willing to stand on her side and control Qiao Nan for her, she would be even more confident in being able to make Qiao Nan treat her elder sister with more selflessness and concern. Qiao Zijin carefully poured a glass of warm water that was of the perfect temperature and handed it over to Qiao Dongliang. Qiao Zijin was frustrated as she gazed at Qiao Dongliang. A year ago, or perhaps, even from the time Qiao Nan had been in junior high school, her dad had never been one of many words. However, her dad had always behaved like her mom and had always been on her side. Her dad had always made Qiao Nan make selfless sacrifices for her sake. Why was it that not only Qiao Nan had undergone a drastic change, but her dad had as well? Now, her dad was completely biased toward Qiao Nan. It was not as though she needed Qiao Nan to completely sacrifice herself like her parents had demanded of Qiao Nan in the past. All she needed was for her dad to treat her a little more fairly and compassionately. Qiao Nan had married well while she was divorced and unemployed. Qiao Nan was living a good life while her life was in the gutters. Was it too much to ask of Qiao Nan to give her a helping hand by giving her a good job? It was not too much to ask for at all. Chapter 2056, Good Intentions. If her parents were to work together to reason with Qiao Nan and attack her with facts, there was no way Qiao Nan could refuse them. Seeming to know what Qiao Zijin was plotting, Qiao Dongliang, who had recently become especially quiet, spoke up. I'm glad that Nan Nan got married. After she got married, I often think about the times when you were still married to Chen Jun. At that time, all the young ladies in the northern courtyard were envious of you, talking about how quickly Chen Jun was being promoted. Qiao Zijin's eyelids twitched and she smiled in pleasure. That was right. At that time, she was the pride of the northern courtyard. At that time, Chen Jun was being promoted every so often. Nan Nan. As someone who had only graduated from junior high school, she would never have been able to find a good job for herself if not for her diligence and willingness to learn. Zijin, don't you remember what you told us and Nan Nan at that time? 1. Qiao Zijin, who was immersed in her fond memories, felt as though she had been whacked on the head with a hammer. All those good memories were instantly shattered into little fragments that could not be pieced back together. Did she remember? Of course she did. After successfully snatching Chen Jun away from Qiao Nan and getting pregnant with Chen Feng before getting married, Qiao Zijin had practically reached the peak of her entire life. Every time she returned to the northern courtyard, all her neighbors would treat her as though she were their biological daughter, addressing her affectionately and asking after her. They would always ask, Zijin, you're back, Zijin, we bought some fresh fruits. Would you like some, or even Zijin, remember to visit us sometime soon. Qiao Zijin knew exactly why these people treated her so warmly. Just like how her family had been treated before the civil service examination, these people simply wanted Zijin to help them ask the Chen family for a favor so that their children would have good and stable jobs or get into good schools. Since others already behaved in this manner, Xiao Zijin had no choice but to consider Xiao Nan's situation. As long as it concerned Chen Jun, it was true that Xiao Zijin could not stand tall in front of Xiao Nan. She had snatched Chen Jun away from Xiao Nan and she did indeed owe it to Xiao Nan. But every time she opened her mouth, she made it seem as though Xiao Nan was the one who owed it to her. It's as if for the sake of preventing trouble for Chen Jun, Xiao Nan should never get involved in anything related to Chen Jun. Once, Xiao Zijin had even directly said to her family, "Technically, Xiao Nan's my only sister, so it's my duty to treat her well. But it's Xiao Nan's fault for purposely trying to get chummy with her own brother-in-law. If I really ask Chen Jun to help Xiao Nan find a good job, wouldn't it be bad if others were to misunderstand and overthink the situation? You know very well where Chen Jun works. It's better for him not to get involved in such matters lest others catch a chink in his armor." Honestly, if Xiao Nan's educational qualifications were a little higher, I might still be able to ask Chen Jun for some help since she's quite capable. I'm not even talking about being a university graduate. Even being a high school graduate would have been good. Think about it. How bad could a job recommended by Chen Jun be? Out of so many outstanding candidates, including college students, others will definitely talk about it if Chen Jun were to pick Xiao Nan for the job over everyone else. It hasn't been easy for Chen Jun to get to the position he's in today. Even if Xiao Nan's my biological sister, I can't possibly harm my husband just to help my sister, right? Because Xiao Zijin had said that, Ding Ji, who had become the most glamorous mother-in-law in the entire northern courtyard because of her son-in-law, Chen Jun, was the first to disagree. "Help? Don't bother. That wretched girl is so stupid. She has neither the capability nor the qualifications. She's the most useless person in our entire family. I don't even mind that she's embarrassing me by being single at such an old age because of her low qualifications. How could she be so shameless to expect you to help her find a job? Don't bother about her. Zijin, don't harm your husband just because of a sister who can't get married. You're a mother now." Ding Jiyi's words were exactly what Xiao Zijin wanted to hear and Xiao Zijin replied hypocritically. "Mom, don't be angry. Of course, I won't harm my son or my son's dad. It's just that we're a family, and some things should be clear between us. If helping Xiao Nan doesn't mean a thing to Chen Jun, I wouldn't mind helping her at all. But as you can see, there's really no way for me to help Xiao Nan given her circumstances. My goal is to benefit everyone in our family, but there's really no point in putting someone down just to help another. Besides, I've thought about it. Chen Jun might still be promoted in a few years' time. Perhaps, if Chen Jun were to help Xiao Nan then, no one would dare to say anything because of his position. When that time comes, I promise you that I'll help Xiao Nan." Ding Jiyi did not intend to let Xiao Zijin help Xiao Nan at all. She had already known that Xiao Nan would be useless the moment she had been born. It would be enough for her as long as Xiao Zijin led a good life without Xiao Nan dragging her down. That was all she asked of Xiao Nan. But Ding Jiyi thought about how Xiao Zijin had been able to graduate from university not because of her mother or her father, Xiao Dongliang. It had been all thanks to Xiao Nan that she had been able to graduate. Even though Xiao Zijin was Xiao Nan's only sister and it was only right for Xiao Nan to help Xiao Zijin with such a small matter, there was no way she would allow Xiao Zijin to show her good intentions toward Xiao Nan now. Anyway, Xiao Zijin had already said that Chen Jun would most probably be promoted to a position where no one would dare to gossip about him in the future. There was no saying when this future would come. As such, Ding Jiyi thought that there was no point in rebuking her daughter about something that might or might not happen in the future. These were just words anyway. They would cross that bridge once they got there in the future. Xiao Dongliang remembered clearly that entire conversation, including the disdain on Ding Jiyi's face and the glee on Xiao Zijin's face at that time. At that time, Xiao Dongliang had not said anything because he cared that his elder son-in-law should have been his younger son-in-law. Xiao Dongliang was a man and he was no fool. He had eyes to see whom Chen Jun truly had feelings for. But what could he do? It was true that Chen Jun liked his younger daughter, but it was his elder daughter who was pregnant with Chen Jun's child. He could not possibly ask his elder daughter to abort her child to let her younger daughter marry Chen Jun. He believed that his younger daughter would definitely feel resentful toward Chen Jun because of this matter. In fact, she would probably have no desire to marry Chen Jun anymore. Chapter 2057, How was this different? Since that was the case, he could only silently agree to Ding Jiyi's approach. At least, the child in his elder daughter's stomach would have a legal birth status and father. In the end, Chen Jun became their elder son-in-law. However, he still had their younger daughter in his heart. At this moment, his younger daughter's work was arranged by his elder son-in-law. Xiao Dongliang felt panicked. What if the same situation were to happen again and his younger daughter also? He couldn't possibly let Chen Jun change his status from the elder son-in-law to the younger son-in-law, right? Chen Jun had a successful career. No matter what, Xiao Dongliang felt that it was pretty good for Xiao Nan to continue guarding her original job and position. This way, there wouldn't be any problems between his elder daughter and elder son-in-law. His elder son-in-law's job would also be secure. In the blink of an eye, Xiao Zijin had already gotten a divorce from Chen Jun. However, some situations were repeating themselves again. Now, his younger daughter had married well, his younger son-in-law had a high-ranking job, and everyone in the Xiao family had face. If his elder daughter wanted to lead a better life, she had to depend on the glory of his younger daughter and younger son-in-law. However, it wasn't that easy. In this depending process, his elder daughter might cause trouble to his younger daughter and younger son-in-law, harming their interests. Xiao Dongliang still remembered clearly Ding Jiyi's and Xiao Zijin's attitude toward Xiao Nan back then. Similarly, Xiao Dongliang didn't forget how his attitude was back then either. Xiao Dongliang felt depressed in his heart. Perhaps the day he thought of, which was for his younger daughter to help his elder daughter once she was leading a good life, would never happen. This was because back when their family had faced such a situation, nobody had ever mentioned for the elder daughter to help the younger daughter. Nan Nan had never argued, but that didn't mean that Nan Nan had forgotten about it. Zijin never helped Nan Nan. How was Nan Nan willing to selflessly help Zijin? At that time, Nan Nan relied on her own efforts step by step. Although you are her sister and even married a good man like Chen Jun, even if Zijin had snatched Chen Jun, a man with a good background, away from Nan Nan. Under those circumstances, you never helped Nan Nan at all. Not only did you not help Nan Nan, but you even got Nan Nan to put the salary she earned into your mom's pockets so that you can use it to buy a house thereafter. At that time, you said that as long as you had enough face in front of the Chen family, you could put in a good word for Nan Nan in front of the Chen family in the future so that our Xiao family would become more confident too. Now that Nan Nan married well, shouldn't you also work hard and let the Zai family know that although our Xiao family's status couldn't be compared to the Zai family's, our family would definitely not become Nan Nan's burden? Zijin, didn't you mean this when you expressed those words back then? This was the first time Xiao Dongliang realized that at his age, his memory was still like a young man's. He could express Xiao Zijin's high-sounding reasons back then in their original form and shut Xiao Zijin up. Xiao Zijin was really taken aback by Xiao Dongliang. Xiao Zijin didn't remember clearly what she said or did back then. Upon hearing Xiao Dongliang mention it, indeed, she found that those words sounded familiar. Dad, that's different. She led a good life in the past. If she helped Xiao Nan, she would be burdened. Now that Xiao Nan was leading a good life but she wasn't, Xiao Nan was naturally obliged to help her so that she could lead a good life as well. Her mom was right. Xiao Nan was born with a bad life. If not for Xiao Nan's birth, would the Xiao family's status be so low when they were young? Even in the face of Chen Jun, she didn't need to go soft on him. After all, her mom always wanted to be the wife of a battalion commander and her dad nearly became a company commander. Without Jiao Nan, she would have had a reputable family background. As such, she didn't need to work hard or rely on outsiders. As long as she had Jiao Dongliang as a father, she could lead her dream life. However, following Jiao Nan's birth, all the good life was destroyed by her. Her father retired from the army and became an ordinary worker. His wages couldn't support his two daughters well. It was Jiao Nan's appearance that changed her from a little princess at home to an ordinary girl. Jiao Nan owed her. What wrong was there for Jiao Nan to let her live the life she should have led again? When she was leading a good life, Jiao Nan must not burden her. When she wasn't leading a good life, even if Jiao Nan had to sacrifice herself, she should give her a hand and let her lead a princess-like life. Jiao Nan owed her all of this. It was right that Jiao Nan gave their mom so much money. With so much money, could she buy back the glory and status of a battalion commander's wife? If one wanted to be calculative, Jiao Nan had owed her and her mom too much. If there was really a next life, Jiao Nan might not be able to return what she owed them in 3 lifetimes, let alone this lifetime. She didn't know what would happen in the next lifetime. Taking advantage of this lifetime, she was definitely going to let Jiao Nan pay back as much as possible so that she could lead a more comfortable life now. With such a mindset, no matter how Jiao Nan was used or harmed, Jiao Zijin never felt that she was in the wrong or that Jiao Nan had suffered too much in this family. After all, based on Ding Jiyi's description, the reason why this family went downhill was all because of Jiao Nan. Jiao Nan caused the Jiao family to be like this. As such, Jiao Nan was obliged to restore the Jiao family to its previous glory days when she had yet to be born. Even if Jiao Nan did it, she shouldn't take any credit as this was the debt she owed. If Jiao Nan could make the Jiao family more glorious than before, then what Jiao Nan did would be considered compensation to the Jiao family. Jiao Zijin never thought that Jiao Nan was equal to her. It was only right for her to do everything she wanted. It was also only right that Jiao Nan did everything for her. As such, when Jiao Zijin's and Jiao Nan's situations were completely reversed, she didn't feel that the set of theories used on Jiao Nan back then was qualified for Jiao Nan to apply it to herself in turn. Apologies, but Jiao Nan wasn't qualified. Only Jiao Nan owed her. In terms of repayment, Jiao Nan was not qualified to be on equal standing as her. What's the difference? Jiao Dongliang didn't understand where Jiao Zijin's persistence came from. He really wanted to know how it was different. Chapter 2058, Say it clearly. Could it be that it was only right for Nan Nan to sacrifice for Zijin, regardless if she was good or bad? Forget it. There are some things that can't be said clearly to you. It's all right as long as Mom and I understand. Jiao Zijin refused to communicate with Jiao Dongliang. She had long realized that in this family, only she and her mom had a common language and could understand each other's words and inner thoughts. Her dad was biased. Even if what she said was reasonable, when it reached her dad, her reasoning would only become distorted. Since she knew that this was going to be the result, why should she waste her saliva and efforts to argue with her dad? There wasn't anything to gain from it. Dad, take a rest. I'll just wait for Mom. Once there was good news, her mom would definitely send a text message to let her know immediately. She was a fool. She had long known that her dad only had a daughter, Jiao Nan, in his heart. Wasn't she just giving herself trouble by chatting with her dad for so long? Jiao Dongliang was still wondering if he could help Jiao Zijin and restore her strange worldviews. Who knew that before he could complain about Jiao Zijin's strange thoughts, the other party had already rejected communication with him and looked as if it was tiring to talk to him. Jiao Dongliang felt like someone had dealt a strong blow to his head. Although he was sad in his heart, his lips couldn't help but curve up, revealing a smile that was uglier than crying. Sure. Go ahead and wait for your mom alone then. He was thinking for Zijin, but she couldn't even be bothered to talk to him. Living in such a house, Xiao Dongliang felt cold in his heart. He was about to lose the courage to continue living in this house. He felt timid when he saw Ding Ji and Xiao Zijin. Xiao Zijin waited for 2 full hours. Xiao Zijin always thought that this was an easy lawsuit. It was the truth that Xiao Nan didn't give the family money. Her family would definitely win without a doubt. However, 2 hours had passed and she didn't receive any text message or call. Out of eagerness, even if the signal displayed on her mobile was 4 full bars, she couldn't help but take her phone to the yard and try to receive the signal. She was afraid that the signal was affected in the house and her mobile didn't react in time. In the end, Xiao Zijin didn't wait for Ding Jiyi's call or text message but Ding Jiyi herself. "Mom, you're back." Upon hearing the sound of a car from the door, Xiao Zijin looked out. Wasn't the person opening the door her birth mom that she had waited 2 hours dearly for? "Mom, is the lawsuit over? How was it? Did we win? How did the judge decide? How did Xiao Nan look like at that time?" Upon thinking that Xiao Nan couldn't win against her even if she had become the wife of the chief, Xiao Zijin felt extremely proud. There was a saying that men conquered the world while women conquered men to conquer the world. The situation between her and Xiao Nan was similar to this saying. So what if Xiao Nan was formidable and married Zai Sheng? The glorious Xiao Nan had to listen to the words of her, the birth sister, in the end. She was the one standing on top of Xiao Nan. She was the person at the top of the food chain. "Where's your dad?" At this moment, Ding Jiyi's face didn't reveal the slightest joy. Her long face and bloodshot eyes showed that not only was the result of the lawsuit not what she expected, but it even developed in the direction that Ding Jiyi didn't wish for the most. "Where's your dad? I want to talk to him. There are some things I have to talk to him about clearly." First, it was Xiao Nan. Now, it was Xiao Dongliang. Ding Jiyi felt like she was a balloon full of air. If there was a little more anger in her stomach, she would have exploded. No matter Xiao Nan or Xiao Dongliang, they were the ones who did the most but said the least in this family. Xiao Nan and Xiao Dongliang, who silently sacrificed for the family, seemed to have come to a prior agreement. They refused to be controlled by Ding Jiyi and turned into traitors one after another. As such, 2 hard-working oxen suddenly became dogs who loved to bite but not bark. What Ding Jiyi couldn't accept the most and felt most pained about was that these 2 people were mostly under her control back then. However, the first person they chose to bite was none other than herself. Now that the situation had developed to this point, Ding Jiyi was so angry that if she didn't lose her temper now, this father-daughter pair would really treat her as someone without temper. If she didn't swear an oath of sovereignty now, the people surnamed Jiao would really forget who the head of the family was. Xiao Zijin frowned. "Dad? He's always in his room." "Mom, why are you so angry? We lost the lawsuit." "It couldn't be, right?" She consulted a lot of lawyers before, and all of them said that if they were to hand this lawsuit over to any one of them, the result would only be a win. Her mom couldn't have found a fake lawyer, right? The fake lawyer was so capable that he or she could turn a sure-win lawsuit into a losing lawsuit. "I'll talk to you later. I have to find your dad to clarify a situation first." The reason why she would temporarily lose this lawsuit was that not only did someone not have the same mindset as her, but he even secretly hindered her. She had to understand if what Xiao Nan's lawyer said in court was true first before deciding how to proceed with the lawsuit. "Old Xiao, hurry up and open the door. I know you're in the house. It's useless to remain silent. I'm in a very bad mood now. You'd better hurry up, open the door, and make things clear to me. Otherwise, we won't be able to continue living together." 1. Men really couldn't be pampered. If not for her willingness to marry old Xiao back then. Would old Xiao be able to have a wife and 2 daughters at such a young age? The Xiao family didn't have any relatives anymore. How would an ordinary girl be willing to marry a man like old Xiao? She was stupid not to despise old Jiao. She married him as he had treated her well. She had waited on old Jiao all her life. Now that she was old Jiao didn't give her any face. First, he gave the courtyard to that wretched girl without telling her. Then, he hid her in front of Zijin and chased her to the small single room. Today, she was going to let old Jiao remember that without her, he was just a lonely man. She was the one who was willing to marry old Jiao. She was the one who gave old Jiao a home. She was the one who gave birth to 2 daughters for old Jiao. The person old Jiao should feel most thankful and grateful to in this lifetime was her, Ding Ji. Jiao Dongliang opened the door. You're right. Let's make everything clear today. 1. Chapter 2059, Lousy Teammates. That being said, Jiao Dongliang, who had already failed to communicate with Jiao Zijin once today, didn't expect to be able to say things clearly to Ding Ji to make her understand. However, before doing certain things, some words had to be said. If there wasn't any explanation, everything would be unclear. Let's go out and talk. Jiao Zijin felt that the atmosphere was strange. She wasn't sure if she would be able to help Ding Ji if she was around. As such, Jiao Zijin hurriedly said, Dad, Mom, I suddenly feel a little sleepy. Go ahead if you need to talk. I'll return to my room to rest first. Anyway, even though she didn't linger here, she would still be able to listen to their conversation as long as the door was left open with a small gap. She believed that not too long later, once her parents raised their voices, she could hear clearly the contents of their conversation. Jiao Dongliang shook his head. There's no need to. You're already 43 years old. There isn't anything in this house that you can't listen to. Instead of trying to figure out how to listen to our conversation, it's better that you just sit here. 1. Every time he talked to Ding Ji, Jiao Zijin deliberately left the door open with a small gap. Jiao Dongliang might not have thought about this if it only happened once or twice. However, if it happened too many times, how could Jiao Dongliang not know at all? Upon thinking that his daughter had so many tricks up her sleeves against him, her father, there was nothing else Jiao Dongliang could do except to admit his failure. Just listen to what we say. There's no need for you to express your opinions, just like before. Your mom and I are elders, after all. It's not your turn to take care of us yet. He allowed Zijin to stay only as an observer. It didn't mean that she could change from an observer to a participant. Jiao Zijin pouted. She felt that her father's attitude was pretty hurtful. She'd rather return to her room and eavesdrop than listen to them so openly. Not only did this treatment fail to prove her status and treatment in this family, but it even made her feel like she was looked down upon. He allowed her to listen but not care. Wasn't this bullying her? Sure. Ding Ji slammed the table hard. I was still thinking to save you some face in front of Zijin. Since you don't want face, I won't stop you either. I'll ask everything directly. You just have to answer me honestly and clearly. Let me ask you. Ever since Jiaonan left this house, did she give this family 2,000 yuan monthly? Did you keep all of this money and not tell me before? Even when you were hospitalized, you didn't take this money out or intend to tell me about this money. You even let me put Zijin in a spot and ask her for money for daily living expenses. After saying this long string of words, Ding Ji's face turned purplish red. When she was in court, she accused Jiaonan of living to 40 years old but being no better than a 3-year-old child as she didn't support her parents. Not only was her behavior not worthy as a child, but she was also obviously not qualified as a person as she went to enjoy blessings by herself and ignored her parents. Ding Ji really didn't like her daughter, Jiaonan. She also hated Jiaonan later for no longer being under her control, causing her to lose face and Jiao Zijin to not become a civil servant. Once these emotions came up, Ding Ji didn't control herself. She scolded all kinds of ugly words until the other people in court became stunned and tongue-tied. The lawyer Ding Jiyi hired was also stunned by Ding Jiyi's skills of scolding Jiao Nan. When he recovered himself, Ding Jiyi had already scolded a lot of ugly words. He quickly stopped her. The lawyer had forbidden Ding Jiyi from speaking, suggesting that she had better cooperate and shut up. It was just that Ding Jiyi had gotten so much satisfaction from scolding that she initially didn't think of what the lawyer had told her earlier. Only when she saw that the lawyer's face didn't look right and he asked her to shut up did she realize the court was quiet and many people seemed to be looking at her strangely. Ding Jiyi couldn't help but shrink her neck when she saw the way the judge was looking at her. The judge quickly stated that Ding Jiyi should be quiet and that she was no longer allowed to curse and shout in public. If there was a second time, Ding Jiyi would be taken out from the civilized courtroom. In order to win the lawsuit, Ding Jiyi closed her mouth under everyone's warning looks. When the plaintiff's side was over, the lawyer representing Jiao Nan didn't have much to say. He only presented a statement of bank transfer records to the judge and jurors. All parents would want the best for their children. I have parents as well, and my parents are like that. If it's possible, I wish for all parents to be like that as well. It's a pity that the truth tells us that there are all kinds of people in this world. Even if some of them became parents, they cannot be that kind of parents. These bank transfer records prove that even though such a family treated my client badly in every way, didn't give my client the warmth, help, and support a family should be giving, and made the term home to be cold and hell-like for my client still adhered to filial piety and fulfilled her responsibility and obligation as a daughter. She had never shirked her responsibility. As such, my client does not and will not admit what the plaintiff mentioned before. I hope that the judge will give the justest decision. 2,000 yuan was transferred to the Chiao family monthly. Even though this amount indeed wasn't particularly a lot, it couldn't be considered little either. No less than 2,000 yuan was transferred every month without fail. His client was still sued for not supporting the elderly and ignoring their life and death. Sorry. But his client would not bear this and become a scapegoat. With these bank transfer records, the lawyer representing Jiao Nan felt that this lawsuit was too easy to win. This wasn't fabricated evidence. No matter what reason, he felt that his client had already done her duty and no one could pick her fault. Seeing Ding Jiyi's hired lawyer's face turn green, he sympathized with him. Really, in this industry, if the clients they met were smarter, they would be godlike teammates. One wasn't afraid of godlike opponents but lousy teammates. He had never seen lousy teammates before. However, after seeing his client's birth mother, he realized that that was how lousy teammates looked like. That round of scolding had already reduced the opponent's odds of winning by 1/3. Now, he produced evidence of his client fulfilling her basic responsibilities and obligations as a daughter after being betrayed, bullied, and oppressed by the Chiao family. Chapter 2060, Spoiled. If he lost this lawsuit, he would change his job and pick up rubbish in the future. Ding Jiyi was stunned when she heard what Jiao Nan's lawyer presented as evidence. Then, she saw her own lawyer giving her accusatory looks. Ding Jiyi hadn't forgotten what her lawyer had said earlier. They had a slight chance of winning this lawsuit only if they could prove that Jiao Nan never gave any money to the Chiao family after she left back then. The lawyer confirmed this point with her again and again. Even if Ding Jiyi was a fool, she understood how important this point was. At this moment, she suddenly knew that Jiao Nan had been transferring 2,000 yuan monthly to the family. What was shocking to Ding Jiyi wasn't that Jiao Nan had given the family 2,000 yuan. In the past, there were plenty of times Jiao Nan had given the family 20,000 yuan monthly. But if what the lawyer said was true and Jiao Nan had been giving money to the family, then where did all the money go? She couldn't accept it. That was 2,000 yuan each month. She had never received it before, let alone spend it. There were 3 people in the Chiao family. If she neither received it nor spent it, only her husband and elder daughter were left. No matter who took the money, Ding Jiyi couldn't accept it. Also, if Jiao Nan had really been transferring 2,000 yuan monthly, Could she still win this lawsuit? Judge, I need to take a 5-minute adjournment to confirm the situation with my client again. Ding Jiyi's lawyer couldn't hold it back anymore. There was such a big loophole in terms of evidence now. He regretted not retreating before the court session when he found out that Ding Jiyi's temper was exactly the same as how it had been in the news. Ding Jiyi stated repeatedly to the lawyers and judge that she didn't know about the existence of this 2,000 yuan and didn't receive a single cent. The judge didn't care if she knew of the evidence or not. They only looked at the evidence. Furthermore, everyone had a bad impression of Ding Jiyi and sympathized with Jiao Nan, who didn't attend the session. Everyone was wondering why Jiao Nan didn't show up. It must be very hurtful to be sued by her own birth mother for not supporting her parents. Moreover, they had to face each other in court. Not to mention that Jiao Nan was obviously the one who had sacrificed the most for the Jiao family and her parents. Not only were her efforts not recognized, but she was even accused of not supporting her parents and sued. Whoever encountered this would definitely be angry. 2,000 in the face of an unreasonable mother like Ding Jiyi? 2,000 yuan was too much. It was more satisfying to let Ding Jiyi have a taste of what it was like being unsupported. It was a pity that such behavior was disallowed legally and morally. As such, when the judge made the judgment, he indicated that the 2,000 yuan Jiao Nan provided monthly was very consistent with Ping Cheng's standard of living. It was up to Jiao Nan if she wanted to provide more money. The court wouldn't participate in such opinions or enforce any strong judgments. As there was direct evidence from Jiao Nan that Ding Jiyi's accusation was a false accusation, Ding Jiyi couldn't stop the court's fast judgment even if she wanted to. Furthermore, the lawyer Ding Jiyi hired didn't want to stop it. She was full of lies on TV, and now, she even dared to lie in front of a lawyer. The lawyer was really curious. Could it be that Ding Jiyi had been deceiving herself all this while and she really felt that the judge would give her a win if she could deceive one person and even the whole world? Even a 3-year-old child might not have such naive thoughts. The court has already passed its judgment. Madam Ding, if you want to file a lawsuit in the future, it's better to resolve all the conflicts and situations within the family. A situation like this would only waste your time and money the most. I'm sorry, but I have something on. I'll make a move first. Ding Jiyi lost money and time. The lawyer knew that he had lost face. If people knew that he had accepted such an unreliable case, he would most probably be considered as a joke for a while. The lawyer made a silent decision. If anyone from the Jiao family came to him for a lawsuit, he would definitely not accept the case. He was afraid that there would be problems once again. As the court had passed its judgment at lightning speed, Ding Jiyi didn't even have a chance to recover anything. As such, she rushed back home angrily and wanted to find out whose pocket the 2,000 yuan Jiao Nan had been transferring monthly had landed in. One had to know that this had already taken place for about a year. This meant that in this year, there was someone in the family who had swallowed more than 20,000 yuan alone. Ding Jiyi kept guessing in the car who it might be. Actually, she suspected Jiao Zijin. It was no surprise that the daughter she gave birth to was like herself. Furthermore, who in this world didn't love money and didn't want money? The problem was that Jiao Zijin knew that she was filing this lawsuit. She even encouraged her. If that 20,000 yuan really fell into Jiao Zijin's pockets, she wouldn't have supported her in this lawsuit. After all, for matters like bank transfer, the evidence would be produced once one went to the bank to check. Also, the relationship between Jiao Nan and Jiao Zijin was never good, regardless if it was when they were young and the former had to give up studying, or when there was Chen Jun coming between them when they had grown up, or now that Jiao Zijin wanted to become a civil servant. As such, if Jiao Nan were to transfer money to the family, she shouldn't have transferred it to Jiao Zijin's account. Compared to Jiao Zijin, it was undoubtedly more likely that the person who had been swallowing this 20,000 yuan alone was Jiao Dongliang. After reaching home, Ding Jiyi rushed toward Jiao Dongliang. Old Jiao, Jiao Nan has been transferring 2,000 yuan monthly for about a year now. Did you swallow the money alone? It was as if Jiao Dongliang had expected Ding Ji to be asking him this when she returned this time. He said calmly, I took this 2,000 yuan. It can't be considered that I've swallowed it. His daughter had given him money. How could this be called swallowing? Old Ding seemed to have taught him these words before, right? Ding Ji was so angry that her body shivered. Why didn't you tell me that that wretched girl has been giving the family 2,000 yuan monthly? Why didn't you give the money to me? 2,000 yuan a month wasn't a lot. However, in a year, that was 20,000 yuan. Since when did old Jiao dare to hide from her and swallow this 20,000 yuan alone? When they were young, Jiao Dongliang even had to let her know if he had 2 yuan in his pocket. Now, Jiao Dongliang dared to hide an amount as big as 20,000 yuan from her. Ding Ji could only say that she had spoiled this man rotten.